This is Rocio from SAGNY. Thank you so very much for joining us on today's webinar. Today we have Don Sanders. He's the owner of Don Sanders Marketing. He is presenting cyber selling strategies. Learn how to close 90% of orders with the use of the internet. Don, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're more than welcome.
I'm going to hand over all the control to you in the screen.
Okay.
Shot to you in 1 second, and if anyone has questions, please feel free to ask, and I'll ask Don anything that you guys are interested in. Okay?
All right.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
All right, so there you are. I see your screen.
Okay. Now, can you see it now?
Yes, I can see it perfectly.
Okay, we're ready to go. You want me to start?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, well, I want to thank you all for tuning in today, and I am going to do the webinar I do on cyber selling strategies, and the point of that's going to be that I sell probably 90% of my orders now by email. That doesn't mean that I find people just off the internet to sell. I sell the same way that I always have, which is by personal relationships and getting to know people, forming bonds with them, and getting them to buy from me, pay full price, stay loyal, pay their bills, etc. So I am not presenting a theory that you can just get on the internet and get a lot of business by just meeting people you don't know. The only way you can sell effectively, make the money that you want to, is by forming personal relationships. But I'm going to talk to you all about that as we go along. And a little bit something about me and the reason that I'm here. I have been a distributor for more than 30 years, having started when I couldn't get a job in either 1983 or 1984. I don't know exactly when it was, but it was a long time ago. My dad and I had bought and sold Caterpillar road machinery for a living. My dad was a Caterpillar sales rep in Texas, or in part of Texas. For 30 years, he retired, and we started our own business and did real well buying and selling used road machinery. And in 1983, the economy was bad. Interest rates were really high, 18, 19%, and we could not borrow money effectively to turn tractors and make any money. So I had to start looking for a job, and there was a lady in Dallas had a big distributorship, and my dad and I had bought some jackets from her and some holiday cards and some hats, and she found out I was looking for a job. She asked me to meet her for a drink one day, which I did, and she said, well, Don, you're a pretty good salesman. Why don't you sell some orders from us while you look for a job? And at that point in my life, I needed money. I still need money, but probably not as badly as I did back then. But I thought, what the heck, I'm going to try it. So I started selling cups and napkins with my friends' initials on them. They would have people over to have cocktails, and they thought it would make them look better if they gave them a styrofoam cup with their initials on it. It's about the dumbest thing I'd ever seen. But I ended up selling 11 of my friends 250 styrofoam cups, 500 napkins. Turned out the lady that I worked for got married to a guy she thought had a lot of money, shut down her business, that dumbest thing I'd ever seen. And I called one of the ladies who worked for her, and I said, well, I've got a couple of orders out. You know, what do I need to do about getting them processed? And she gave me the name of the man that Personality Cups, they're not around anymore, who did the cups. I went over to see him, and that is how my distributorship started. And from just those two items that I sold, napkins for Trainer Graphics and styrofoam cups for a company no longer exists, I've sold probably $24 million worth of products since then. But the neat thing about it is I've averaged about 43% on my profit. Been able to do that because we don't give things away. I don't bid on things, state governments, etc. We sell good quality customers that pay us. I am still a distributor for 91 months in a row. My ex-wife, myself, a full-time assistant, and 3 interns from SMU sold over $100,000 a month. I'm not making that up. We actually did that. I don't sell that much anymore. I am still a distributor, but I now own a sales training website called sellpromoproducts.com. I train distributors how to sell, how to do better. The site's free to anybody. The logo's down there, sellpromoproducts.com. You can go to it. I make money off of it. Suppliers pay to put ads on my site like Warwick, Dooley, Quickie, Magnet America, etc. I only deal with nice suppliers that I have a history with, so anybody I'd recommend to you would be good. I do speaking at ASI shows. I just talked at the show in Birmingham and the one in Nashville. So I am a distributor, I am a speaker, I'm a trainer, and I'm just here to try and help you the best way I can. Just take what I'm going to show you for the way it is. A lot of y'all will be scared to death about these things I do. That's okay. It's just not for you, but it works for me. All I can do is tell you how I've done this and made pretty good money. Now, I'm going to try and talk to you about how to use email to overcome objections. I create a lot of YouTube videos on my iMac. If I can figure out how to do it, you certainly can. I am not that computer literate. I've gotten to where I can make pretty good little basic videos that I send to my customers. How to follow up on the phone. No cyber selling or email is going to work just by itself. Effectively, you've got to also use phone, direct mail to make your imprint, your brand on people. I'll show you how to limit product choices, how to use LinkedIn, also Facebook. I'll tell you about how some business we've gotten off of that and how we find full price buyers. So I'm showing you this picture of this poor man lugging around what looks to me like are 200 pounds of catalogs. That's just about how this was when I started selling. There was no internet. We did product searches from ASI on those big filing systems that had all the catalogs. So if you wanted to look up a product, you had to look in a book under tote bags to give you the ASI number, and then you'd look up, have to do that manually, drag the catalogs out. For me to make a sale, I'd probably have to see somebody 3 or 4 times. I could chat them up, meet them at a chamber event, just like I always do now, or the same way I do now, but I had to go back and back and back. Back then I had to go pick up artwork, couldn't be emailed to me, and I have taken this from where about 90% of the time I can meet somebody, form my relationship with them, and then I can close them by email. In fact, it irritates me if anybody wants to see a sample anymore. I send most of my requests, these graphic images. A lot of times there's virtual samples I've had created. I rarely have to show samples to anybody anymore. I really don't even take too many catalogs when I go out to meet somebody initially, because what I want to do is build my bond and then go from there and close them through email and on the telephone, etc. Now, the truth I want to talk to you about email selling is this is not about just getting on the internet and sending people emails and trying to get them to buy from you. That's not going to happen. I mean, you look in your spam folder every day, your junk mail, you get so much stuff. Nobody's going to take you seriously by just trying to email them just stuff out of the blue. Your open rate on that is terrible. My website, at one time I had a 50% open rate on emails. I send out 3 or 4 selling tips a week to the list of people on my website. I've got about 40,000 email addresses. At one time I had about a 50% open rate. I still have the highest open rate, I think, of anybody in the industry, about 16%. The reason that I have a high open rate is people trust me, and I have been truthful with them, and I have a bond with them. So even if my email goes in their spam or in their junk file, they'll dig it out because it's coming from Don Sanders at sellpromoproducts.com. And that's what you've got to do. And the truth I'm telling you about this is just not going to work unless you've built a bond with people, proved you're trustworthy, they know you, and they know to dig your email out when it goes to the wrong place. And also for them to read an attractive subject line you would put up. Now, the thing that I do to sell, I've always done this to sell even when we went out and made sales calls, is I limit product choices, especially do this by email or virtual selling. A lot of distributors will approach their customers with this menu right here. They will make their distributorship or their selling effort just like a Chinese restaurant. Now, I don't know how anybody goes in a place like this and figures out what they want. It seems that every Chinese restaurant or Japanese I've ever been to has too many choices. Please don't make your business like this. If you do, all you'll do is confuse your customers. You have to narrow products down. You have to limit what you send people, and you have to be able to qualify them and pin them down on few products. So I'm using this as an example. of how not to make your website too accessible. And I'm going to show you a little trick that I do. I have a website, I have an ESP website. I'm not pushing that over these other services. I just use this because one of the things I can do on my site, if you'll see my logo up there, it's Don Sanders Marketing. I'm going to talk to you about the shoes in a bit, but that's our logo, that's our brand. But like on my site, Cloth Promotions has got an ad down there under my logo. So if anybody comes up to our website, first thing they're going to see is our logo, and they're going to see an ad for Cloth Promotions. And if they stay on there for 4 seconds, then it's going to change to an ad to Warwick. If they stay on there another 3 or 4 seconds, it's going to go to Dooley. I have 10 different suppliers featured in that pane. The reason I'm doing that is I've got 10 suppliers I have history with: Dooley, Warwick, Cloth Promotions, Quickie, Magnet America. They're all really good suppliers that I like to deal with. So I would like my customer to come up and maybe be attracted to these ads that are running here and click on that link and go to those products. I've made a bunch of sales from people that didn't know about my lens cleaning cloths from Cloth Promotions. They didn't know that Dooley has pet feeding cups, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm trying to limit product choices by trying to get people to show interest in the 10 suppliers that will come up in a rotating basis on my site. And when we get to the end of this, I'm going to show you the slide, which is going to be about the same slide as you're seeing there, but it'll have my sellpromoproducts.com logo, my phone number. If you want to call me, I'm happy to talk to you about it. Suppliers pay me to do this, so my job is to help you do a better job, and I'll spend whatever amount of time that I can with you. I just want to impress on you to limit your product choices, especially with email. Too many choices is going to confuse people. Now, I use email effectively because I am different. There's nobody in the industry that wears shoes with music notes on them. I do. I started buying these shoes 4 years ago from an artist who makes them in Scottsdale, Arizona. I wear them at trade shows, and the first time I did it, I had 100 people stop me and ask me, "Don, where'd you get those shoes?" I figured out, I've got a gimmick here, and I'm going to wear these to be as an attention getter. I have sold over 50 orders in the last 4 years since wearing these shoes and meeting people in bars. I met a guy on the subway in New York when I went to the ASI New York show 3 years ago, ended up owning a big finance company. He said, "Dadgum, Don, those are the neatest shoes." I chatted him up, got off the subway. I gave him one of my lens cleaning cloth business cards. He ended up buying 1,000 of those things. If I'd had on black, brown, or blue, or whatever shoes it is, I would have never met the guy. So I'm trying to tell you that you've got to be an individual. You've got to be unique. You have to have a brand. If you don't, you're not going to be able to sell anything, much less by selling it by email. I am different. I don't have paper business cards. I'm usually the first at showing products to people. I go to a lot of shows. I look for stuff. I come back and show them to people. And I am unique. I am certainly unique. A lot of people don't like my uniqueness. I don't really care. I am trying to attract people that want to buy from me. If you don't like my branding, if you don't care for the way I am, then that's fine. I'm not going to be able to sell you anyway. My last 22 years, my business cards have been calling coins. I've had rulers. I've had rubber business cards. I've had business cards made out of crystal. Now my business cards are little pads by Warwick, which I'm going to show you, plus lens cleaning cloths. The thing I'm showing you there was my holiday card 2 years ago. I bought regular holiday cards from Warwick, just regular ones anybody would send. It said "Happy Holidays" from Don Sanders on the inside. But I did lens cleaning cloths, printed them just like that, 6x6 size, folded them up, put them in the card. When they opened the card up, business card fell out. Not business card, but this lens cleaning cloth fell out. Not only they get the brand by seeing Don Sanders on the card, this thing drops in their logo. This not on the logo, drops in their lap. I actually sold 5 orders of these. I mailed these the first week of December. I actually had 5 people that I sent these to call me and say, "Don, can we get these as our holiday gift?" So I plan to send them early. Not only did I get my meaning out, I also got some business out. Now, here's my business card. This is important for email selling. When you email people, I also follow up by mail. This is the card that I have. It's a lens cleaning cloth folded down into thirds. It has my address. It has my marketing brand, phone number, etc. When it's unfolded, that's exactly what the thing looks like. Those are different shoes that I have. Every time I meet somebody at a chamber event or I meet them just in any opportunity like volunteering, etc., I will take out my card, unfold it. I will clean their glasses. I will clean their cell phone. I will fold it back up, folds down from thirds to the top, from top to bottom, half, left to right. I give it back to them, and I just ask them, you know, why don't we do some of these with your logo on it? I'm not in the print business. I don't want to sell printing, can't make any money off printing. I have sold over 30 people in the last 2 years that I've met at events by unfolding these cards that are different, they're unique. I show them where their images of their products can go where my shoes are. I'm not pitching Lynn's Cleaning Cloths. I'm just telling you this is how I sell. If you want to sell by email any other way, you've got to be able to be unique. Warwick makes these little Sullivan pads. That's another one of my business cards I have. It has my Don Sanders marking, etc., etc. I thought this is kind of a boring thing now, a pad. So I've sold 4 orders of this product by taking rubber bands, attaching them to my cell phone and saying, let's take this tablet, let's adhere it to a cell phone, and let's make an item that you think is old school into a technology item. I use this all the time when I check my email messages, etc., etc. Phone messages, I write on my pad, put it back together, put my rubber band on it. I don't really care if anybody ever uses the thing like that. What I'm doing with this is I'm trying to get people's attention to show them that I think out of the box, and I'm showing them how to take a simple rubber band and create a completely new product, which is what I've done here. Now, I make everything personal. I send everybody pictures of things that go on my life in my emails. I don't send religious quotes. I don't send Bible verses. I send pictures of what's going on with me. My dogs Betty Ann and Gracie Ann, who you will see here shortly, have sold me more things than anything that I could ever come up with. I have a nuclear bomb shelter in my backyard built in 1962. There's what it looks like when you open the door. You probably think, what the heck are you doing with that, Don? Well, everybody in Oak Cliff, the neighborhood I live in, knows that I have the nuclear bomb shelter. I've probably had 2,000 people to my house to go see this thing. It was built in '62. It has 3 beds, a toilet, has a water system, an air system. I've gotten the thing in on History Channel, Doomsday Preppers. The Morning News has come out and done a story on it. Oak Cliff has a preservation league. I got them to put my house on that tour. Had 2,000, about 1,500 people come through my house. You're thinking, why would you do that? Every dadgum person came in my house. I met as many of them as I could. I told them what I did, chatted them up, gave them one of my pads. I got 6 new customers out of that using a nuclear bomb shelter for people to learn about and get to know about me. My dad died in 1990. I went over and got my mother's photographs at my house. That's me right there with hair and a creepy Santa. I'm number 2603. I took that picture. I took it to Walgreens. I made 100 copies of it. I just mailed it in my invoices. Most of y'all would never do anything like that, but that's okay. I do. I probably had 50 people call me or email me looking for email on this seminar saying, Don, we never knew you had that much hair. Where'd you get that jacket? What's going on with that creepy Santa? I turn around and use this image. I put Happy Holidays from Don. I sent that to all my customers, my prospects, following up with the holiday card I'd sent with the cloth, with this, and people connected with me. I had people send me their old holiday pictures. Once I can get people to do that, I've got them. Now, let me show you about personal email. I don't ever respond to anybody and send them products back. I send them things about me. I went down and called on the Hyatt Regency 4 years ago. They had a new marketing director. They were going to change who they were buying promotional products from. I would never be able to outbeat anybody on price, probably not any smarter on products, but one thing I'm good at, I am good on building relationships and being interesting. So I saw the lady, I made the pitch. Geiger was there, Halo, Big Vernon salesman, and another big independent, and just Don. Chatted up Cynthia, the lady I was talking to her. I showed her 5 products. After that, I got home. We talked a little bit about dogs. I got home the next day. This is the email I sent her. Cynthia, thank you so much for your time. Please let me know when we can talk, et cetera, et cetera. included my business card, put on here Betty Ann and Gracie Ann Sanders. That is what I sent. A large account in Dallas. A lot of people won't do that. I do. That's the response I got back. This is how it works. She says, I am good. I got 2 little puppies, so I'm really happy, blah, blah, blah. I have outsold everybody who went up against me, even with distributors with more resources. They can't beat me. I've got her hooked by my dogs. As for your examples, you can come and get them, et cetera, et cetera. Paul, like the Lynn's cleaning cloth, the USB cards, et cetera, et cetera. From this point forward, the last 4 years, I've sold that account, about $60,000 worth of products. That was all generated by the fact that the lady loved dogs just like I did. I can't impress on you enough how you got to do this. If you want to sell the volume that you want to and you make money, you're not going to sell it by being cheaper. You're not going to sell it by saying you have a million things. You can't ever outsell me with that tactics, because if somebody likes dogs, I'm going to get them before you do. If they like nuclear bomb shelters, I'm going to get them. There's just a jillion things that I've used to communicate with people. You've got to figure out something that is your unique. Maybe you like to hunt. Maybe you like to fish. Maybe you like to garden. Find something that you like that you can use to bond and get people to come back to you. I'm happy to help you do this. I've helped people sell by liking plants. I've helped a guy who he used his dog to become his motto for his distributorship. The dog is the one that emails his customers. He's just the interpreter. Goofy stuff like this is how you get ahead today. Here's an email I got from a lady who owns Junk King. I was walking around my neighborhood with my dogs, saw a lady cleaning out one of these old houses. The house I live in was built in 1955. They're always rehabbing these houses in some way. I chatted her up. I talked to her about my dogs. I sent her an email thanking her with a picture of that bomb shelter. She's come back here. You're absolutely right. Last picture is horrifying. I have her sold right here. Nothing about products, nothing about cheapness, just about what we shared in common. I sold her 4 orders to date of non-spill mugs based on my dogs and based on emailing pictures. Now, if you're going to be successful with email, you've also got to be successful on the telephone, and the way that you do that is you leave great voicemail messages. I always have something to say. I just don't call people on the phone and say, you know, Joe, it's Don, I'm calling you back. I convey some information. Nothing irritates me worse than somebody to call me and just say, Don, this is Sonia, I'm calling you back. Give me a call back. Don't waste that opportunity. Say what you want to say. If I've talked to somebody about caps, I follow up with them by phone, on their cell phone, regular phone. I say, Joe, I need to get that artwork if we're going to meet that due date. If it's Sally, I'll say, Sally, you know, we talked about ordering those magnets. I am going to have to place that order to get them to you in the time frame you want. I used that voicemail. I also set deadlines on the phone. I'm somebody. I just say, well, you know, could you call me back by 5? You know, the price I gave you is good by a certain time. I've used the voicemail to set up my closing tool, which is my email. I will then email them the next day and say, Roy, whatever your name is, just want to make sure you got my voicemail message. That is how I close. You just can't close alone with email. You've got to do it in conjunction with good phone skills, which I'm just trying to help you with that. You also are not going to sell by email if you have a lot of objections. I always try to figure out why there are so many objections. I think the reason being is most people don't have any confidence today. They're scared to death, like this pretty poor woman with her fingers in her mouth. She doesn't know what she's doing, so she gives you objections because she doesn't have any confidence in herself. So to make herself look smart, she's going to rag on you and say, well, you know, we don't like that. We don't like that product, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of people don't have much knowledge anymore. A lot of these big companies that I used to call on that had 10 people in marketing only have 3 today. You got 3 people being paid the same doing the job of 10. I think because there is a little knowledge, people have to ask you stupid questions to make themselves look good. I also think the majority of people are scared about their job today. A lot of the people you're calling on are fearful of losing their job. I mean, their job cutbacks all the time. You know, I got fired from Masonite. I was the #3 sales in the world out of 300. I got fired in the middle of the night by a nutty guy. And I was scared to death I was going to be fired starting the 4th year I worked for them. I knew he didn't like me. Dadgum if it didn't happen. But I was always scared. So I can speak to these topics specifically. So to keep from people giving you objections that you need to do away with, you're going to sell by phone or by email, is to never work on orders until you learn the facts. I know that distributors do not ask these questions by email. I know they don't ask them by phone because I get about 200 emails a day from distributors who ask me, Don, you know, there's going to be a new billiard parlor opening in the neighborhood. What do you think I should sell them? I'll email them back. I'll say, well, how many do they need and how much do they want to spend? The woman emails me back and says, Don, I don't know that. I didn't ask them. And I say, well, you know, how am I supposed to help you when you're not telling me how many they want, how much they want to spend? I can't price the product right if you don't tell me this information. So I never work on a quote. Anybody contacts us by email, anybody contacts us by phone, unless I've got these 4 questions asked. I'm not rude to people, excuse me, but if they don't tell me the answers, I don't work on orders. I know the people that I deal with consistently always know that when they come to us wanting something, that they know when they tell me when they need it, how much they want to spend, the quantity, and what they're using it for. That way I can pick out a particular product that suits them. If somebody comes to you and doesn't have you these answers, do not spend any time on them. I know 1,000 distributors will sit up and spend all day working on something, and then when they go send it to people, they go, oh my goodness, I couldn't spend that much. If you just ask up front, you wouldn't have wasted that time. I don't waste time. I'm not ornery about this. I'm not trying to be a smart aleck. I'm just telling you, somebody that can't tell me these things, they're not a buyer to me. They have not reached a buying decision. We get people to reach buying decisions by answering these questions, and I do a lot of that question asking by email. Now, another way that I get a lot of business is I make myself look good by sending emailed testimonial sheets to people. I also have these in writing or in written form on 5x8 postcards that we mail to people. I also leave these when I call on people if they're not in. But the best and most effective thing is I get comments from people that we bought from a short period of time or a long period of time. And what I do is I email these to people. I don't have to make them up. Gosh, I've done this long enough. I've got some good things that have been said about me. Some people will say I amplify things. Maybe I do. But I want people to know that if they do business with me, they're getting a quality job from somebody who can produce, which is us. So I get these quotes. I put them in these email form. Says just like that, why we buy from Don. It's another image of my shoes. Here are my quotes, and I email the heck out of them. If I go meet somebody at a chamber event, I go see them, and then they ask me questions. As soon as I get home, I'll send them a thank you email. Before I send them dogs sometimes or pictures of bomb shelters, I'll send them my quotes. I don't care if you've been doing this 3 days or 3 years. You've got somebody who said something good about you. Take advantage of that by sharing it with people to know that they should respect you because you do a good job. I do a lot of cyber business because I offer service, praise, contact. I'm personal and unique. There's another picture of me. Sometime back in the 50s, my mother rented a horse. They'd bring it out, put you in a Western outfit. You look like a goof sitting there. I email that picture to my customers. I probably got a 70% response rate. Good gosh, Don, we never knew that you look like that. I'm telling you, this is what I do. I offer really good service. We do most of our orders now by email. I email proofs to people quickly. I email my suppliers back quickly. Not only do I use phone messages for praise, we send thank you notes, I send thank you emails. I contact people on the phone. I go see them, but I also email them. I'm very personal. You see this. I'm not making this stuff up. I email these images. I'm showing you another one right there, and I am unique because I am showing you that I guarantee you there's not anybody you've ever seen who sent a picture like that to their customers. When I follow up, I have something to say. I create contacts by saying something. I get callbacks. I just don't leave those blank messages that we talked about. I tell you specifically, but I follow up. If I've emailed you, you haven't come back to me, I will call you to see if you got my email. Vice versa, if I've emailed, I'll call you to make sure that you got the email response. I am looking for touches. I am important, just like I showed you about the deadlines. I just don't let people hang for all time. If I give you a price, I'll follow up by email asking you if you've made a decision. I also slide dial people a lot. There's a phone number right there. You can call that number. It's a free service. You listen to a little ad for McDonald's, AT&T, or somebody. It'll say, please enter the cell phone of the person you want to slide dial. You enter it in, and you'll go directly to the person's cell phone number. I don't like to talk to people anymore. Cell phones are too destructive to selling. I can't sell people that are standing in the line at the grocery store. People do that all the time. I flew back from Nashville yesterday, and idiots trying to make a deal walking down the aisle in the airplane. I would have hurt to, well, not hurt, I would have been sorry if I was a person trying to make the sale, because he wasn't paying attention. You dial this number, you put in the cell phone, you go directly to their voicemail message. You can leave a concise message. Joe, I'm calling you back. We talked about the hats. I need the artwork, etc. You don't need to sell them by talking to them. You can do it by slide dialing. If you need the number at the end, you're not catching it now, email me. I'll send it to you. I'm always on schedule with email follow-up. If I contact somebody on Wednesday, I am going to contact them, and I swear to God, no later than Friday. If I meet somebody on Thursday or I email, contact them on Thursday, I am back with them by Monday. If you do not contact people back within 2 days, you are dead meat. I don't care if that's in personal, if that is by phone, but we're talking about email. You meet somebody, you've got to get back with them within 2 days, or they're not going to remember who you are. If you meet them on Monday, get back with them on Tuesday or Wednesday. Always do this. I know distributors don't follow up because I know suppliers don't follow up. I go to trade shows. I went to Orlando to the ASI show. I had 2 suppliers I talked to about nice jobs we have. They were going to send me samples. They were going to call me. Never have dadgum heard from them. I did hear from one yesterday, but that had been almost 5 weeks. That deal is long gone, where if they'd gotten it in 2 days after that, we would have had a deal. Now, I email a lot of never-seen-before products to people. Dooley is a great supplier. I'm not pushing them, but they are. They did mood cups. They came out with mood cups 3 or 4 years ago, these color-changing cups. I bought a bunch of these, mailed them to my customers, like about 20 people. I also turned around and emailed the images. I made that image myself. I took one of those cups, put it on, that's my kitchen counter against my backdraft of my kitchen. I filled the cups up with cold water. I took that picture. I created this. I emailed this along with mailing those samples. I have sold probably 40 orders of Dooley mood cups because they were brand new when I sent them. Now, I email product flyers to people. Here's another thing by Dooley. They have pet food cups now. Let's just say that's what this is. I took my dogs to the vet. You've seen Betty and Gracie. They're 7 now. The vet told me they were 4 pounds overweight. It hurt my feelings. So I said, well, what am I supposed to do about this? The vet said, well, you need to feed them 2 cups of 12 ounces, 2 feedings, 12 ounces a day. I said, how am I going to do that? They said, well, Don, don't you have a measuring cup? I said, yeah. I said, but why don't you buy some cups from me, put your logo on them, put ounce marks on the back of them, instead of pushing me off on using my own serving cup? Why don't you do some marketing for yourself? I actually sold these to my vet to give to people when they bring their dogs and cats in for checkups. Cats are really fat. I had 2 cats that have now ceased to be on the planet. Rex was 16. I had to put him to sleep 2 months ago. Little Scooter, I had to put him down a year ago. He got diabetes. That's the first time I've cried in a long time taking those cats to be put down. But anyway, the good thing about it is I sold my vet these cups because I actually showed it to him because of my visit. This is the hottest product in the world. This is off the topic. We're not talking about email selling, but I do a trade out with my vet. I'm sure most of you all have dogs and cats. Most of you are not selling your vet. Go to your vet. You give them money Get them to give you money. Next time you go up there, you run up a $600 bill, why don't you just say, well, why don't I do pet food cups, magnets for you as a trade-out? All they can do is say no. If they say no, it'd make me mad because I think I'm giving you money. Why can't you give me money? Happy to help you with this if I can, but pet food cups, I've sold a lot of those. I show a lot of unique products by email. Magnet America, I'm not pushing them. They are the only supplier who has camouflage magnets. This is a really cool, neat thing. A lot of people are into hunting. A lot of people are into safety programs that have a camouflage theme. I've done a bunch of safety programs. We're not going to talk about that now, but I did a lot of camouflage coolers, camouflage hats, and these things, but there were no magnets available then. This is a new product. You email this image to your customers. There are gun ranges, pawn shops. There are a lot of companies that have hunting retreats, anything that's outdoor. This is just a product that I've sold orders off of because I'm emailing unique products. I email hot products. Idle Memory is a supplier I help. They've just come out with these fitness wristbands. These things are expensive, but I am telling you they are hot. You show these to your customers, you never know who would want to buy one of these things. I sent out a selling tip to my list of people offering a sample of this with a shipper number. I had over 150 distributors email back. When I get that many, I know that this is a hot product. This is an image that I have emailed to my customers, and I sold an order off of it. Now, Devara, which is up in northern New York, has just come out with rescue whistles. Now, the reason I'm pitching this is this is so important, and if you want rescue whistle samples, just email me at the end. There's a big problem on college campuses with female students getting raped, attacked at night, also in parking garages. I got samples of this. I made this image up. I put female students safe with security whistles. I put that in my subject line, and I email that to some school accounts that I have, and I've actually sold orders of this. I created this slide myself. I put in my logo. This is all the thing says. Doesn't have a Bible verse on it. Doesn't say Don is great. I just want people to come back and say, Don, tell me more about those rescue whistles. You blow that whistle, I would blow it right now, but it would scare you to death. This is a great item for you to show to people who do student housing, also for health care. I'm just pitching this because I am telling you I believe in this product. It's an American-made product. You need to sell it now before it's knocked off, becomes a piece of junk. Right now you can sell these to hospitals, to HR, to give to nurses. A lot of nurses going in and out of these buildings at night. This is a great item. What I'm pitching on the item, besides that, is the fact I created this image and I emailed it to people. This is another emailed image that I made. There's my logo, always creative. There's my card, credit card flash drive from Idle Memory. All I'm saying here is your customers will love them. I took all of my customers that were in the healthcare business, put in the subject line, free credit card thin flash drive, put it in my subject line, sent the email to myself, BCC, all of our healthcare customers. I had 3 of them come back saying, Don, we'd love to have samples of them. I sold 2 orders of them. Didn't cost me a dadgum thing to make this email up. This is just one that I made. Here's another one I made for our hospital accounts, selling badge retractors that do not kill germs, they repel germs. I got in trouble on this because I tell people it will kill, it does not. This is another Devara thing. I sent these to my hospital accounts, just emailed. I also got samples of this and mailed them in the mail, and then we called and then we emailed. I send this. I made this template up myself. I'm happy to help you make these. They're real easy to do. Here is another one I created. Respond to this email to receive a free credit card flash drive. Put the flash drive, my logo. All it was in the subject line was, it was a free credit card flash drive. When I I used to live out in Grapevine. There were 830 members of the Grapevine Chamber. I had all their email addresses. I emailed every one of them this. I had 16 responses from that, and from that we created 7 new customers. I got the samples from Idle Memory for free. I just gave them my shipper number, and those are the samples that I sent. I got new customers just by sending a simple, easy to create email template. Now, on my Dooley thing, I created my own YouTube video. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Here's another one I created. I'm sorry I'm showing you a lot of these. I'm just trying to show you some variety. I'm just trying to show you, help you as much as I can. This is another one I've done. If I can do these, you can do them. Now, I've got an iMac. I sat right in front of my computer, created my own YouTube. I create the link, send it to my customers. All I did was take a cup filled with ice and water, sat right in front of my computer. I don't have much hair on my head. I was kind of insecure about that at the time, so I even put my little TCU football hat on to cover up my bald spot. Sat right in front of my computer, turned it on. I just said, this is Don Sanders. I want to show you the coolest product you've ever seen. I poured the cold water in the glass. It changed to blue. I just said, if you want something for parties or something as neat, send me an email and I'll get you samples. I just created this myself right on my iMac. If I can do it, you can do it. And then I email the link to my customers. I had a friend of mine who is a professional broadcaster. I bought her and her partner a really expensive dinner one night in return for her making 3 YouTube videos for me. She had a professional camera, backdrop that's in her house. I went over and she made me 3 videos on Warwick products with her holding up Warwick products, pitching Warwick's memo pads and their folders. She made these for me, really professional, downloaded them, put Warwick's website on them, sent them out, got a couple of orders from this. Cost me a nice dinner, but it gave me a little variety of somebody else making the pitch without me having to make the dadgum pitch all the time. Now let me talk to you about using LinkedIn. Yes, sure.
Don, I have one question. Well, I have a couple questions. One from Jamie Costershall. They want to know, when you offer free samples, do you order self-promos and send from those?
No, the self-promos I have a lot of different things. Like I have pizza cutters from Molinar as a self-promo. I have seed paper packets from American Greenwood. I've got about 6, and I always send those to people along with any samples that they would like to have. But like on those credit card flash drives, as an example, I have those also with my logo on it, but I would have sent them 3 or 4 others, not 3 or 4 other products, just 3 or 4 different samples of those showing the imprint capability. Because let's say on the flash drive they imprint full color on both sides. I just wanted to show them that. But when somebody wants to buy something, I would just usually send them a random sample. And then what I will do is I've got a pretty good relationship with a lot of these suppliers. They'll do free virtuals for me. So I would send them, mail them, or I would take by the sample and leave it, and then I would turn around and email them the virtual with their logo on it, and not try and do anything more than that. And I close a lot of sales by doing that.
Okay. And one other quick question. Monica Kulesa wants to know, when you say free in subject line, I thought it was more likely to go into spam. She wants to know if it's not true.
Well, it probably is true, but the relationships that I try to tell you up front is I get such a good open rate. Like today, I'll just give you an example. For sellpromoproducts.com, I offered a free iPad holder from Phi, and it says free sample of whatever it is, iPad holder, and I've gotten back 125, 150 responses on that because people trust me, and I'm only sending these emails saying free in the subject line to people that I know. Now, when I did it for the Grapevine Chamber, I didn't know any other way to do that, and so I was sending to 800 people. Most of those I did not know, but I didn't know else to do that. I don't worry about things like that. I just do what I do. Sometimes I get in trouble, but if I try to do everything all the time and not get in some kind of problem or whatever, I would do nothing. So I wouldn't worry about putting free in the subject line. If you do it with your customers, I don't think you're going to have any problem with it. So you have any other questions?
No, that's it for now. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. On LinkedIn, the thing that I can stress on you about LinkedIn is you probably don't have your contacts in the right groups. I did not. I have 835 people on my LinkedIn account. The mistake I was making is when somebody wanted to join me, I would just click on their request, and they were going in my friends folder, and I did have 3 folders made up. I was smart enough to do that. One of friends, contacts, business, and what I hadn't done is I had not segregated out my contacts, my business contacts out, and I probably had 220 business accounts in my LinkedIn. Probably the rest of them were just people that I know. And so what's helped me is I sat down and took the time. I couldn't do it all at one time. It'd take too long, but I made 5 categories, and then everybody that was a customer is in customers. And then like the little email templates that I've shown you, I'm getting pretty good. I've got a guy helping me where I can email those, or not email them, but email them to all my LinkedIn customers. And the point I'm trying to stress on you here is to create groups. Because if you're sending things that are business related to people and they're getting it, they're going to kind of think you're kind of kooky. And I try and send things that are appropriate to who I'm sending to. And the only thing, we don't have much time here. I'm not going to go into all this about LinkedIn, but please look at your groups, find your contacts, and make sure you have your customers in a customer file. They're not in a file with your high school friend or your old girlfriend or stuff like that. That's what I want to talk to you about LinkedIn. Now, I have a blog on my sellpromoproducts.com website, and I'll put something on there about every 2 or 3 weeks, every week. I've probably got 90 entries, 100 on there. But if I was back doing this the way that I used to do it when we were selling, $1 million, $1.5 million a year, I would have a Don Sanders blog, and on my blog I would build, I would talk about these products. Like I talked to you about the rescue whistles. I'd write up a little story about the rescue whistle and put a picture of it, and then I might write up the pet cups, put a picture of it, and I would just post that stuff on my blog constantly. And then on my Lynn's cleaning cloths and things like that, I mean, if I was doing what y'all are trying to do, then I would have my blog address on there as well as my website address. And then I would, when I call on people, I'd say, well, if you're going to see some really cool ideas, I'd pull them to my blog, and that way I could be showing them products I want to buy and keeping them away from my website. I don't want people going to my website because I don't want them picking suppliers that they want to pick something to buy from that I don't like, because there's some suppliers that are worthless. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. I'm not going to tell you who they are, but I don't want to sell an order for somebody who is not going to do me right. So if I have a blog, then I can put on there what products I want to present. So I'm trying to tell you, you can do a blog, and you can use LinkedIn to also promote your blog. Now, I can't remember if I've got a Facebook slide coming up or not, but I want to talk to you about Affordable Care Act. This is really germane right now. And I've put this in. You can contact people about this through email. A lot of small businesses, 75 to 100 employees, within the next year, they're going to have changes in their tax codes, tax rates, and they're going to be cutting marketing budgets. I've already seen this happen. I had a guy that was selling like 5,000 T-shirts a year to a hospital, and he went back to make that order again, and they said, you know what, we're going to take that money and we're using it on wellness programs. and he just sat there without being aggressive. So I want to encourage you, every customer you've got, you need to start talking to them about wellness programs and ways you can help them save healthcare costs. I don't know a lot about this. FI does. I know the guy, Ron Williams, who runs FI, used to be a doctor. He's got a whole report on this. Happy to email it to you at the end. But like here is a wellness magnet. Magnet America has these, so they're out in front on this. They've got a series of 8 wellness magnets. Like this one is on wellness tips. He's got one on good eating, one on hydrating yourself, one on exercise. You can get samples of this. He'll make you virtuals. Get out to your customers and start talking to them about wellness programs. Even if they don't buy the dadgum things, they're going to think you're smarter than your competitors, because most people will just sit on this and not do anything. But get out in front beforehand. Like here's 3 products that I'm showing you. Like up here on the right is a little journal you can use for exercise. The pill box is down there. That's the real important part, is to take your medication on time. And then the thing up there on the left is a timer, exercise timer. There's a bunch of these products like this. If you'll start showing to your customers, get out in front of this, I think that you'll do really well. Now, that's a blurry image of sellpromoproducts.com. I made it too big, but that's got my cell phone number on it, 214-533-4215. Also my email address, don@sellpromoproducts.com. I'm not pushing this, but if I can ever help you, please let me know. I started this a long time ago with no help. There was no place to go. ASI didn't have shows then. The only shows were the PPAI Winter Show in Dallas, and PPAI had a show in the summer, and there were some traveling shows, and I got real frustrated. I didn't have anybody to ask about anything, and I kind of learned things the hard way. And if you don't know what you're doing, it's kind of tough. You get frustrated, and if I can ever help you, just email me or call me. I'm not pushing these suppliers, but I've got some good sample kits if you'd like to have them. And if I can stress one thing on you about email selling is please think about yourself, something you've got going in your life. I know you like to do something. I did a presentation in Birmingham, and dadgum, I've connected with a guy who likes to fish. I could care less about fishing. It doesn't matter to me. I don't like that. But this guy did, and he sent me pictures of 3 big fish he and his wife had caught. And then I emailed him back. And then from that, we've come into a relationship that he likes castles. I like castles. Now, he's not an account of mine, but he's a distributor that I'm going to become friends with because we found a common bond. And what I'd like for you to do is think about if you like gardening, if you like hunting, if you like your kids, if you like football, whatever you like. I went to TCU. The little Horned Frogs were pretty good this year. I am a member of the Frog Club. I have gotten a lot of business from personal relationships I have built through going to football meetings, just emailing people. So I'm out of time now. I know y'all don't have any questions. If you don't, it's okay. I just want to thank you for taking the time to listen. And if I can ever help you again, please let me know. And I'm sorry I was too wordy. I just tried to tell you the best way I can. And I appreciate you listening. And if you want to get a hold of me, I'm more than happy to do it. And thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, Don. There is one last question from Jay. He wants to know, do you use an email service like Constant Contact?
I do. For the emails that I send out through sellpromoproducts.com, I have 40,000 email addresses is what I have. So they charge me $240 a month, I believe, for that service. And so when I load up these selling tips, they're sent out through Constant Contact. But like for my emails that I send my customers, I usually send them individual emails. Or like, I don't have that many customers anymore. Like, you know, we used to probably have 20 hospital accounts. Today I might have 3 or 4 that actually buy from us. But like, I might have the email addresses of the 20. I just sit down and send them 20 individual emails. And I do that because it makes me want them to think that I'm being more personal. I can't be any more personal than I am on Constant Contact because I can't send out 40,000 emails. But once you work into enough contacts and you've got them, Constant Contact will charge you by the amount of emails you have. So if you don't have as many emails as I have, which you probably wouldn't, from that you probably get a better deal. But I use Constant Contact. The templates are easy to do after you figure them out. My ex-wife handled that for us. We were married when I started my website. And Susan, I wrote the tips up. Susan did the templates, and she sat down and showed me before we got a divorce how to do it. And if I can do it, I guarantee you can. So I use it, but on my personal emails, I usually send them myself. So that's my answer on that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
Just wanted to let everyone know that this session has been recorded. We will put it on our YouTube channel, SAGNY channel, so it's there available. You have Don's contact information, his cell phone, his email address. You can also contact me, Rocio, at SAGNY.org. Again, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you all came out with some great selling tips. If I were a distributor, I have some great tips to work on. Thank you all. Have a great Friday afternoon, a great weekend coming up. Don, thank you again.
You're more than welcome. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.